great pace. It's looking solid right now. But I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
Hey guys, and welcome to another video, and welcome to episode 16 now of my F1 2017 career mode. So we start off the episode with an update on our development. We are miles ahead of McLaren, surprisingly. They haven't done an upgrade since Hungary, I think, and we made like 2 or 3 upgrades with them. So things are looking really good, but we will probably not stay with them for next year if we get much better contracts. For example, Renault well, it's looking really good. The contract might be very there's a big chance that they might offer me a contract, so I'd love to go away from Sauber because they don't have a good car, and yeah, I hope I get a contract for next year. So I'm changing the engine parts for this practice session. Surprisingly, older ones were less worn, so yeah, let's go to the first practice session.
We're back at one of the oldest and one of the best racing tracks on the Formula One calendar. Welcome to Suzuka, where the practice session is just about to start. One of the more intimidating corners on any Formula One track is the legendary 130R. Whilst unusual, the name actually comes from the original design of the corner, a 130-metre radius turn starting just past the track crossover. Over the years, due to several severe accidents, the corner's been redesigned to create a straighter entry and creating what is now a double apex left-handed corner.
Despite the changes, this is still one of the most exhilarating corners that drivers in F1 have to take. It's not normally considered an overtaking spot, but this is the scene of one of Fernando Alonso's most famous manoeuvres, when in 2005 he passed Michael Schumacher's Ferrari around the outside.
So in practice 1, surprisingly, we completed all of them, and we got purple in all of them, so things are looking very good in this Grand Prix. I have to say, I wasn't very, what do you say? I wasn't very, well, I didn't think I was good at Japan, but I think things seem different from now. And well, what you saw there was just changing my engine. And as we go to qualifying now, things are looking pretty good. I was on the soft tire, but I finished like 2 seconds in front of my teammate, and he was on the mediums. And you know, difference between mediums and super soft are like second, something like that, or maybe a little bit higher. But things are looking really good.
Welcome to Japan and the impressive Suzuka track for today's qualifying session, where we should be underway shortly. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Fermé regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both a qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias, and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
Right, it's not going to be easy getting into the next qualifying session, but we know you'll give it your all.
We will definitely do so right now. So this is our last run in the Q1 session. We're currently P10, which is incredible. We have such good pace in this circuit, especially in the first corner. We gained like 5 tenths, but On our last run we go much slower, but it's going to be P10. And we're going to go through for Q2 and possibly even Q3 if we keep our position. So our teammate in 20th and not looking so good. Well, we were like 2 seconds faster than him. So let's hope he puts his pace up for this qualifying for the race actually. So this is the Q2 run. This is our second run, and just because it was a really good run, I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna let you hear the game sounds.
Okay, we're currently in the drop zone. We need you to move up into the top 10, or we won't progress to the shootout. Down to P14.
And as we cross the line now, we gain 1.5 seconds, and it's going to be P8. Incredible job. I was so happy with that. I really gave it all. If it wasn't for Verstappen, we would probably finished 9th, but it really didn't matter. That was an incredible lap for me. Kimi Räikkönen got disqualified for some reason. Maybe, yeah, he parked in a dangerous location. Maybe he retired, maybe, or had a problem and parked in the middle of the circuit or something. Yeah, I really don't know. But this is our Q3 run. We only did one run and surprisingly got P9. So clearly Codemasters fixed the problem where after you finish the session everyone improves and supposedly overtakes you. So I'm gonna increase the difficulty for the race. I increased it to 97, so let's hope we'll have a competitive race.
It's not going to be plain sailing for our drivers today, although with the sky falling as it is, perhaps sailing isn't too far from the truth. Anthony Davidson, could be a wet one today. Great to have you with us. What are your thoughts?
It is a touch damp, isn't it? Well, as a driver, there are 3 big things to worry about when racing in these kind of conditions: standing water, tyre temperature and visibility. Judging distance to the cars around you is really tricky when you're driving through the vast amounts of spray that these wet weather Pirelli tyres kick up.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Nico Hülkenberg, and Massa, Perez, and Sauber, Grosjean, and Esteban Ocon, Sainz, Kvyat, Jolyon Palmer, and Raikkonen, Verstappen, Alonso, Lance Stroll, and Kevin Magnussen. Van Dorn and Pascal Wehrlein completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, you've qualified higher than we expected, so let's try to build on this position throughout the race.
So here we are on the grid, starting from P8. Pascal Wehrlein still starts from last place, even though Stoffel Vandoorne had a penalty for some reason. So, and we're gonna have, well, that's what I thought I would have. We're gonna start with the Q3 run tire or Q2, but surprisingly it was wet. It was really going down. So here we are on the grid. It's going to be 5 lights, and it slides out and away we go. Pretty average start compared to Paris in front of us, but yeah, everyone is really the same really, as Grosjean tries to dive it down the inside of us. We get a warning there for a collision with him, but gonna try and go for Hulkenberg, but no, he blocks us a bit there. We lose the car a little bit there, but as we continue going this lap, there's going to be Perez, who dives it down the inside pretty rapidly. So it's going to be P8 for now. I think we qualified P9. Our team wants us to finish P14, so pretty fair from them. I think we can do it. But as we continue now, there's yellow flags, and Zoli and Palmer I think was spun out. We see the replay. He's battling, but I think it's Kvyat, and well, he just tips a tire on the grass. Then Kvyat doesn't give him any room. So really, that's Kvyat's fault 100%. He didn't give him any room, and yeah, it's going to be a very poor race for him. But as we continue now, lap 2, Grosjean goes around the outside pretty easily, but he gets a very poor run, almost loses the car there. And we're gonna have the outside for this corner. We lose the car a bit there, so, and we get a bit of damage, and so don't know what he did there, but he almost broke suddenly into that corner. But he's gonna try and use slipstream now. There's also Ocon there, who's gonna try and make a move. And look at that, Ocon almost drifting into that corner. We get a warning, but now we have a penalty. Okay, so continuing on, there's yellow flags. Ricardo going really slowly there, and safety car has been deployed. So Ricardo must have been so slow. Safety car is now out, and we're gonna have to do a couple of laps under it. So my engineer has been telling me about weather, and I thought about coming into the pits to change my tires for intermediates. So as we completely butchered that last corner in this race, we also lose it there as we come into the pits. We're going to come in for a set of intermediate tires, and maybe that can give us some kind of advantage from the others. We didn't lose too much positions. P17 we're standing now, and let's hope nothing really happens to her in our race. We're stuck behind I think that's Palmer, so the next lap, actually lap 6 now. Safety car's coming in already, so didn't give us any chance. I was actually thinking that the weather will improve and the other guys will come in too, but unfortunately not. So we're the only person now on intermediates. We do have good pace overall on any tire, but I think it's the weather is pretty much balanced there. As we can see Stroll there stranded on the track. I think he hit Kimi Raikkonen some laps, well, before we actually saw him. And there's Fernando Alonso, I think that was, who retired from the race. Didn't see that properly, but as you can see, we're gonna make a move on our teammate. We go much deep, a lot deep. We don't get him now, but we get a very good run here, and we get him pretty easily, but tip a bit on the grass there. Looked pretty scary there. But lap 12 now, nobody has pitted for intermediates. The conditions are clearly getting better, but nobody's coming in, so you can see everyone's going pretty slowly. I'm probably the fastest person on the grid on intermediates, and as we dive it down inside of Verstappen, pretty rough move, I have to say, and he's gonna not be so happy. His team radio. So we're now on the back of Kvyat. He's doing pretty well in the points. Down the inside, we push him a bit wide, so I apologize about that. But now lap 13 we are. It's Sergio, no, it's actually Ocon in front of us, who has a pretty good race. He actually started outside the points, I think. So pretty good recovery from him. But look at this, 3 cars are now in front of us, going pretty slowly. So we're gonna have a big chance to pass all of them, and maybe even get a lot of points for the team. So first person is Hulkenberg. Now we touch a bit. As you can see, we lost the car there and pushed him a bit wide. We also lost a bit of our front wheel, so we decided to let him through, just to be friendly. But no, we're not gonna be friendly. We're gonna dive it down the inside and get P7 from him. So Sebastian Vettel wins this race. We go a bit wide there into the final few corners. We're gonna try and pass our teammates Grosjean in front of us. Look at how slow they're going. Maybe we can get a good run out of this corner, but I think it's going to be P7 for the Japanese Grand Prix.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Anthony, what do you think made the difference here?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Sebastian Vettel, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen. When I was his age, I was just jumping into single-seaters for the first time. The fact that he's here in Formula One and putting in performances like that still amazes me.
On to the constructors then. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling installment of this Formula One season.
So we crossed the line in P7, but unfortunately, because of that 3-second penalty we had, we finish in P10. Still getting points, but unfortunately not as much as we expected and wanted to get. I was so frustrated. We just had just under 1,000 resource points to get an upgrade, so we're gonna have to wait for next race. So then we have another classic challenge for us, and we're gonna do it this episode just because this episode is pretty short, just almost 20 minutes in. So I'm going to stop talking now, just so you guys can hear the game sounds. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and help me reach 300 subscribers, which you almost did, guys. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.
Here we are then, the calm before the storm, as we wait for this field of iconic cars to burst into life for the historic invitational event today. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to be here, and welcome along to all of you at home as well. So grab a cup of tea and get ready as our competitors make their final preparations.